What's going on, everybody? Back here with my guy Rob Veno, and it's already a bit of a crazy morning, Rob. We're getting injury report news coming in. I thought we might be okay. We weren't seeing too much, or I wasn't seeing too much of it on my bets the past few days, but it's affected me a little bit today. How was the NBA for you recently, yesterday, anything like that, or how's betting been for you recently? And what do you think about the injury report today?
Well, let's start with what's been going on. Ski college basketball remains red hot. 74 and 47 now for the year.
There you
27
go.
games over. Been really, really good.
Nice
NBA
work.
last night. Yeah, college. It's been slow in the beginning. Easy stepping into it, and now a little heavier into it. But it's been good all the way through. Last night a nice win with Texas A&M against Ole Miss. NBA though, Dallas first quarter last night laid 3, win by 2. NBA as usual, just cutting me short in a couple of spots. But I see a couple of things here today, Ski, that I really like. So I think we're developing a little more of sense of urgency as I look at these games across the NBA, especially in certain spots. So maybe they become a little bit more, let's just say, handicapped to form a little bit more than they have been over the course of the first, 60 or so. I think there's a couple out there tonight. An injury list. I tell you what, you and I were just talking off air, and we're waiting for the Giannis news to come down on top of the Embiid and Anthony Davis. I mean, it is crazy. You still do have to tread carefully because you never know by the hour what these injury reports are going to bring.
Absolutely. And it looks like I maybe picked the wrong day to jump in early, but we'll see. Let's talk about a few of them here. We'll talk as long as we can. Today will be one of the shorter shows, but we'll do as best we can. If you guys have a question about a game, we'll try to do our best to get to it. So let's let Ness Betts lead us into this one. He likes that Phoenix game. He's putting his pick of the day, and he's been hot. I saw him on Twitter. He said it's been a real nice stretch. So let's go there. 523, 524, Phoenix and Charlotte. It's opening Phoenix -10. Pretty much 10 across the board. There's one 10 and a half, or a couple 10 and a half at Circa and Bet Online. Total open 231 and a half, and it's down to 229 here. As far as the injury report is concerned, we do know LaMelo is going to be out for the Hornets. He's out for the season, so not even going to see him on the injury report anymore. PJ Washington, I thought he was out. I see game time. He's unlikely to play, so I think he's going to be out as well. For the Phoenix and Cody Martin, uh, he's out as well. For the Phoenix side, they'll be without Landry Shamet and Terrence Ross, but everybody else is going to play, even Kevin Durant. So I was thinking, well, Ness Betts, he thinks everyone's scared of the number. I get it. Most people don't like to lay double digits in the NBA, especially on the road. Just beat them by 31. No Melo will be a similar result. I can't talk you off. I can't talk you off of that at all. I'm not looking to lay the points with the Suns just because I want to see them have some kind of chemistry first. I just want to see them out there with everybody. Kevin Durant could still be on a minutes limit. And even without Kevin Durant, I mean, this Hornets team is going to stink. You know what I'm saying? LaMelo, he leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, everything. And just missing him and PJ Washington, I feel like it's a lot of points out of the lineup. Hornets have been playing good defense. That's how they've been winning some of these games. They're number 5 defensive rated team post All-Star break, and Phoenix has been playing at the 5th slowest pace. So I look at all those things. I know Charlotte's not great hitting threes. They're the second worst team, and they're going to be even worse without LaMelo tonight. I just think under. Under has hit last 4 Charlotte games. It's hit 20 of their 28 home games. Phoenix has hit the under 4 of their last 5 on the road and 6 of their last 9 games. I like under the 229. Can't talk Nets bets off the Suns -10. How do you feel about either of our wagers, Rob?
Well, I hope we can all win here because I like the Phoenix team total. I know that we talk all the time about new guys in the lineup, new guys, especially like Kevin Durant, who want the basketball and how quickly it'll mesh. But I think Phoenix's team total is going over 119 here, Ski. So hopefully Charlotte doesn't score and it could stay under game-wise, full game-wise, for all you guys that are on under. Devin Booker didn't have a real good shooting game last night. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 40-point outburst from Devin Booker. Charlotte still is playing at the fastest pace in the NBA, yet their games are going under. It speaks to a couple of things. The opposition they played is not really good offensively, and aside from LaMelo, they haven't made an awful lot of shots on their own. So the Charlotte side, I could see being a little dry, but I don't think Phoenix is going to have any trouble scoring here in this game. Now, overall, over the course of the last 5, I think they moved up a little bit pace-wise, and I expect them to be a little better scoring team now, Ski. A little less defense without Bridges and a little more offense with Durant. For Charlotte to give up 30 a quarter to me doesn't seem like too much. Basically, they've been really good because Mark Williams has been really good defensively because Mark Williams has really picked it up in the post. They inserted him into the lineup. He's been a good rim protector. He's been a good rebounder. That's what he was at Duke. That's what he is here. I think he's had a couple double-doubles in a row. So maybe if you guys are playing props, you want to look at him. But I don't see with Dennis Smith Jr. at point here tonight and with Terry Rozier trying to handle Booker, I just don't see any way Phoenix doesn't get to $120 in this game. So I like Phoenix team total over. If they win this thing 120 to 101, that's good enough for all of us, right? 221 final, stay under the number. I think the Phoenix team total is going over here.
All right, so a few different ways to look at this game. Nets Bets likes the Sun spread. Rob likes the team total over on that side, and I'm liking the full game under. So hopefully we all can get there. We shall see. If you guys, like I said, and I like the Mark Williams look too. I have him marked down on my paper. He has been playing well. I didn't catch his number. I'll look towards his double-double or something of that nature. Hopefully we'll get plus money there, and I think that's a solid look. Let's keep going. We can get to a few more games. It's going to be a shorter show, but let's go Cleveland and Boston. I think that's a good game for today. 527, 528. This game opened Boston minus 6.5. They're now down to a 5-point favorite. So some money coming in on the Cavs. Total open 223 and it's down to 219 at most shops, but make sure you line shop depending which way you like it. I even see 218.5, 219.5. Injury report for both of these teams. Nobody on there for the Cavaliers. They're going to be fully healthy. For the Celtics, Muscala is a game time decision. Gallinari out. Looks like they'll have their original starting 5 out there tonight. My thought process here, Rob, is after the All-Star break, down the stretch, when 2 of these top dogs play, I feel, and we're getting, a decent total, not one of these low 210, 208 type totals. I just feel like the number is going to be a little bit too high. We'll see more of a playoff type defensive game. And we know that's the identity of the Cavs anyway. They're playing, I should have the numbers here in front of me. They're both playing at bottom 10 pace post All-Star. And the defensive numbers don't quite show it for both of these teams, but they're both capable. And I think they'll bring it here tonight. So under the 219.5 was the bet that I took. I think this one stays well under the total. What do you think?
All right, so you and I are going to be in the same positions on different games. But here's another team total that I took, Ski, and I'm so much of a bounce back player. That last effort. And first of all, let's just start with this. How many times this year, I don't know if I can count them on one hand. Maybe I only need one finger on one hand to count them. How many times does a star player return, right? Jaylen Brown's coming back tonight for Boston, and yet the people bet against him. They bet against Boston from 6.5 down to 5, and they bet the total down 4 points, even with Jaylen Brown coming back. It makes no sense to me. I had to triple check and make sure he actually was coming back. Everything I read, he is coming back. So I don't understand the move other than everybody expects a slow down game. Listen, Boston, to me, let me just start with this. The bounce back aspect of this, Boston is off their worst 3-point shooting performance of the year, not the day, not the month, not the week, but the year. Shoot 21% from 3 the other night in their contest, 9 of 42 against the Knicks. Jason Tatum gets ejected. A whole bunch of things went wrong. They only get 90 some odd points. That's not Boston. That's not Boston at home where they shoot really, really well. So I expect a bounce back in the threes, especially with Jaylen Brown back in this lineup. And Cleveland is not a good 3-point defensive team. For all their accolades, for all their strengths on the defensive side, 3-point defense is not one of them. They're 24th in the NBA in 3-point percentage allowed, allowing 37%. It gets worse when they're on the road. It goes up to 38.3. And again, Boston, if we just want to do comparative statistics between home and road as far as offense is concerned, home is where they really shoot it well. Cleveland last 3 games allowing 46% from 3. So to me, there's a little bit of a 3-point bounce back here. Shots go in for the Celtics. I know that they were upset that a lot of the open looks the other night did not go. Sometimes that happens. These teams have played twice so far this year. Both went overtime, by the way, 107-107 at the end of regulation in the first one. And at the second one I have written down here was 114-114 at the end of regulation. The Stars played really well on both sides in those games. Garland didn't play in one of them, yet LeVert and Mitchell both had 41 in that game. So to me, Ski, I thought 112 on the Boston side was too low. I'm going to play it over because I think they will make threes against this 3-point defense. And as I mentioned, the bounce back from the Knick game where they didn't shoot it well. The overall full game look, I'm not so sure of. I just don't understand why the line movements have been what they've been, even with Jaylen Brown coming back. Normally, if a star player comes back, we see the line go in favor of that team and the total go up. It's done the exact opposite in this contest.
So we feel a little bit of different ways here. I'll just put a little bit of numbers to what I said and let the people choose what they like. What I was talking about, 2 elite conference teams play post All-Star break as long as the total is greater than 216. And this goes back to 2010. I have 206 unders, 132 overs, 20 pushes, 60.9% to the under. Just speaks to that it'll be more of a playoff type atmosphere and game. Cavs are going to play as best defense as they can to try to prove that they're better than the Celtics. So that's my look. Rob has a little bit of a different look, and I understand his look on a bounce back for the Celtics. We'll see which one cashes at the window tonight. Don Play is asking, will we take DeRozan under 23.5 points? Not really the game we were on. I didn't look specifically into that, but I do lean towards the under in that game. So I would expect less points. Just don't take it. I don't put too much into what I'm saying because I didn't look specifically into that prop. Any opinion from you, Rob?
Yeah, I didn't look at the prop in particular, Ski. I know that the Bulls are playing much lower scoring games out of the break, a little more defense. They are on a back-to-back situation here. Detroit, however, is a miserable defensive team, and they want to play with pace. So, the same with Boston, Cleveland, kind of. I feel like home team gets to dictate pace a little more over the 48 minutes than the road team does. Maybe Pistons speed Bulls up a little bit and DeRozan gets there. I'm not really sure what to do with that particular game. I know Detroit's not interested in winning, so maybe DeRozan gets to 24. Didn't put a lot of effort into that particular prop. I'll ride with what our viewership thinks. Maybe under 23.5 is the right way to go.
All right, fair enough. Let's keep going here, Rob. You mentioned there's one more player who's probably going to be on that afternoon injury report. So let's take a look at it. 535, 536, Orlando, Milwaukee. This game opened up Bucks minus 8.5. We see them as low as 7-point favorites now. Total open 225, and we're looking at 226, 226.5. Injury report as of right now. For the Bucks, we only see Wesley Matthews game time decision. For the Magic, we see Jonathan Isaac game time decision, but that could change. What I was thinking about this one is I think Giannis is not going to play in this game. I was talking about it with Jay even before I talked to you, Rob. And both of these teams, top 10 defensive rated teams, post All-Star, both of them top 10 defending the three. Just looking at what they've been producing lately, the last 2 weeks, they're combined 7-1, or I'm sorry, they're combined 6-1 to the under, and their games aren't even making it to about 220 points. So I like the under 226. I just thought it was a little bit too high in this one. How do you feel about it?
I would not talk you off of that for sure. And Orlando's a decent matchup for Milwaukee, especially if Giannis doesn't go, because unlike a lot of other teams, Orlando's got interior size that can deal with Milwaukee a little bit better than a lot of other teams can. And to tell you the truth, Ski, out on the perimeter, we used to talk about Gary Harris Jr. a lot defensively, right? He was the one guy, I believe Damian Lillard used to come into Denver and Gary Harris would be able to keep him quiet. But he's injured so often. Now he's been starting again, pretty healthy. And the combination of him and Markelle Fultz makes a pretty good defensive perimeter as well. So they're good interior wise. They're good on the perimeter. They don't necessarily speed games up. They go slow. I could not argue anybody off of under in this contest, especially if Milwaukee doesn't take it totally serious, which I don't think they will. They're on this huge winning streak. I don't think they want the winning streak to break, but I also don't think that they care if they win by 1 or 100 in this contest. And Orlando, as a road dog, has been a profitable source all season long. Milwaukee's been good at home against the spread as well. They're about equal in that particular category, Orlando road team and Milwaukee home team. But I tend to lean towards the dog here in this case. They just give you the full 48 minutes. We talk about it often, how you generally, if you're handicapping these games and you're betting on them, you want a team to give you full effort. Orlando doesn't give me the sense that they're one of these teams trying to lose games. They're trying to win them. So I would think plus points here is good as well. I want to throw one thing out there that I found unbelievable the other day. I was on NBA Tip-Off with our colleague and friend Andy Lang, who does a lot of prop work. And he brought up the fact that Paolo Banchero's over-under total for threes was a half. All he had to do was make one. But then he brought up the fact he's like 1 for 33 this month. So just keep playing under a half. I couldn't believe it when he brought it up the other day, but it failed again to get over a half because he went 0 for 3 the other night. So Paolo Banchero now anyway on a 1 for 33 streak from 3-point range. If you want to ride that gravy train under his half threes made, then maybe that's a good way to go too.
All right, interesting look there for sure. There's another game that you're more interested than I am, but let's take a look at it. It's going to be, let me get back to my odd screen here. It's going to be 537, 538. New Orleans Pelicans, Portland Trailblazers. This game opened Blazers -2. We now see them -1.5. Total open 232.5, and we're looking at anywhere from 232 to 233. So always line shop depending on what you like. Injury report for the Pelicans. I see a lot of people on here. Josh Richardson, game time decision. Valanciunas, game time decision, but he's very likely though. Both of them very likely. Alvarado, Liddell, Nance, Williamson, all out. For Portland, Winslow, Simons, Nurkic, all out. Baji, Archie, game time. I just feel like Portland showed that they were kind of tired in that last game that they played yesterday, and kind of just had shown ways that you can defend them. So if Pelicans were paying attention, they'll probably do some of the same. And I just think Pelicans offense hasn't really been that great lately. I think CJ's struggling. And I know they've went under 3 of their last 4. They're only averaging like close to 103 points per game in the last 2 weeks. So I think it's a little bit different than how the home road splits are for these teams for the season. They're combined 38 and 23 to the over. I think this one is a lower scoring game. How do you feel about it?
Differently.
I don't feel strong. So this one, you can have it, Rob. I have no money on this one.
It's just funny to me because you and I are in agreement so much. But here, I think the absence of Alvarado is so key. I mean, who is actually going to stop Damian Lillard tonight off a bad shooting night last night? He has, a quote after quote, let us know that he's going to do whatever it takes to lead this team into the playoffs. He talks about how injured they are and how he needs to step up. We know that he's had 40, 50, 60, 70-point games this month. Last night was an off night for him against Golden State, only 25 points. Big first half, lousy second half. They can't defend, Ski. We know that they can't defend. So if ever there's a perfect elixir for New Orleans to score some points, it would be this defense. Portland's going to do what they do. They're going to play at pace. They're going to try and outscore you. And for New Orleans, it's as meaningful a game as there is in the NBA tonight, right? These two teams are separated from the final play-in spot by half a game. I think New Orleans holds that half a game edge right now. So it's huge for Portland at home to get this win. Huge for New Orleans to fend them off. I don't know if it's the first time CJ McCollum has been back to Portland since he went to New Orleans, but CJ McCollum back in Portland. And you talked about you were on with Jay earlier, and credit to Jay who informed me that because I was ranting and raving about how McCollum hadn't been playing well, and I guess there's a thumb problem for him that he's playing through, a thumb injury right now. Didn't shoot it well from three last night. But again, I think if there's an elixir for an offense that, where Brandon Ingram could go crazy tonight, where Josh Richardson and Valanciunas could make shots, it's this defense. This defense just no good. I think the total's a bit too low. I would play it over. I considered Portland team total over because I do think Lillard's going to go for 40 plus against the combination of, I don't know, CJ and whoever the backup point is. When Alvarado's not around to give opposing point guards problems, I think that's a concern for New Orleans. So give me over in that game, Ski 233. I get that it's as I mentioned earlier, a meaningful game, and we expect meaningful playoff style games to be lower scoring, but Portland's just not capable at this point in time. And they showed it again last night. They're just not capable of stopping anybody from scoring. So I'm going to try over here, and I might get to the Portland team total over. We'll see.
All right, good stuff there. We had some people in the chat. I'll put them up on the screen, but Dream says CJ's first game versus Dame hadn't hurt, but he expects them to get 20 plus shots tonight. Says it's not the first time back, but the first time playing Dame. Greg, he says if Val doesn't play, he's on Portland. Says he took -1.5 earlier. He's waiting on the lineup to see if he'll take him for the full amount. So a couple different opinions on that game there. We do have a little bit more time to maybe touch one more game. Is there another game that the chat wants to hear about? I know I pretty much have a play on every game except for the last one we just talked about. So I'm down for any of them. If the chat doesn't have one, do you have another game you like, Rob? Or I'll just move to one I like.
Well, real quick, I'll just throw out the fact that the Knicks first half continues to roll, Ski, right? 41-19 Knicks first half. They got Brooklyn tonight on back-to-back. So I don't know if that's a game that you have. Well, it must be a game you have action on because you said you got them on all. But I'll let you go from there. I just think that that's worth noting because the Knicks first half, especially at home now, they're 23-8. First half at home has been just like wake up and cash a ticket.
Yeah, I mean, you listen to those numbers. The Nets are 26-34-1 in the first half. If you want to look at how the Knicks have been at home lately, 3-1-1 against the spread. Nets 1-4 against the spread on the road their last 5, 2-8 against the spread their last 10 on the road in the first half. It's their third game in 4 nights for the Nets as well. Post All-Star break, first half margins, you have the Nets -10.3. You have the Knicks +10.3. Home, road, first half margins for the season +5.2 for the Knicks, -4.1 for the Nets. I'll take the Knicks in the first half -4, -4.5 points. We line up on that one, Rob. At least we can take that ticket to the window together. Yeah, we've been doing. That's been a couple years now where Knicks first half has been good. Chris Clark says, "What games do you feel strong on player props? Bet Bane over 2.5 3-pointers going up against a really poor 3-point defense in the Rockets. He's averaging 4.1 3-point makes, I believe, versus bottom 10 3-point defenses. And if he's on the road, it goes up to 4.5, and they're only asking him to make 3 tonight. So we've seen Lillard torch. We've seen Clay torch this Rockets team. I think he could be the one to torch them tonight. Saturated says, Claxton, points, rebounds, assists, under has been good to him. We have a question about Tremaine says, Philly and Miami. Let's get to that one. That'll be our last game here, Rob. So I'll kick this one to you first. I feel pretty strong about this game. I don't want to talk forever. I want to get to you on this one too. So Philly, Miami, 529, 530. Opened up Philly -1. We now see Miami -1. Total open 215. Still see 215s pretty much across the board. Injury report, I know Embiid was downgraded to questionable. So let me refresh here, actually. Embiid was downgraded to questionable. Deadman is out for Miami. Kevin Love, game time decision. Strus, game time decision. Lowry out. Jovic out. Yurtseven out. How do you feel about this game, Rob?
Well, let me just start real quick, Ski, by backing up 1/2 second because I want to extend onto something. Somebody asked about Desmond Bane, and then you pointed out some numbers, and I was going to say the same thing. Shooting guards against the Rockets I'm playing props on lately. They just don't defend shooting guards whatsoever, which is what Desmond Bain is. So I agree with I forget who out of the oh goodness gracious, who watching us suggested that, but I agree with it totally. Let me get to Philadelphia real quick. I like the Sixers last night. I thought coming here with a revenge spot from the other night where they didn't play all that well, they would do well. But without Joel Embiid, I don't want any part of the Sixers. And without Joel Embiid, to tell you the truth, I think I would take a look at Miami's team total over the number. It was only 108 to start with. And if Embiid doesn't play, the game total is going to go down, which forces both team totals down, and the rim becomes totally unprotected with Philadelphia. I mean, it's bad enough they can't defend fours, but without their guy in the middle, Jimmy Butler might have a field day at the rim. Things become a lot easier for Miami. Even with slow pace, they probably become more efficient. So it's a game I'm probably sitting on now, Ski. I was ready to jump. I told you off air last night I was ready to pull the trigger on Philadelphia. I'm glad I didn't because of what we're seeing now. Anytime a guy goes from in the lineup to questionable midday, it hasn't been a good sign in the NBA this year. So we'll see with Joel. He continues to play every game despite the injury, but I don't know if this is a little different here tonight or not. So I just have to wait and see.
Fair enough. I did bet the Sixers. It sucks that I'm getting, this injury report news now. But I like the under a little bit more. They might play faster without Embiid, but I'm locked in on these bets already. 4 of the last 5 meetings have went under. They're not even averaging 200 points. Miami's offense has been terrible their last 7 games. They're not even averaging 103 points. And just looking at Sixers, they went under 8 of their last 12 games, 7 of their last 9 in conference, and they went under every game so far post All-Star, and their games have been averaging closer to 210. So look at that. These teams just played not too long ago, and we know when they play for their second time in a short time frame and the bookmakers adjust the totals down, I usually play the unders with them. It's been hitting about 61.7% since 2013. And it's a whole team on the front end of a back-to-back in conference. After the first meeting, the season went under. So far this season, 28-1 to the under in that scenario, 71.4%. So under 215 is a good bet for me in this game. Rob, think we touched a good amount in the time that we had. Is there anything that you would like to promote? And is there a play that you like more than the others today?
No, but there's something I'd like to hear again. Did you just say 28-1? Repeat that for me. 28-1?
20, my bad. Maybe I said it together. 28-1.
Oh, okay. One push. I thought you said 28-1. I was ready to open up all my accounts and go. Real quick, wagertalk.com is what we'll promote here really quickly. If you guys aren't members out there already, just go in, go to the site, put in your email address. You'll get access to all the free video content that Wager Talk produces each and every day, every sport, every game analysis from all the handicappers over there. If you're interested in selection packages, mine are always up and available at wagertalk.com on my homepage. Again, college basketball has been red hot this season, heading into conference tournament time now. The smaller ones have started. So this is the really heavy time of year for college hoops. Once again, wagertalk.com. A play tonight, Ski, that I like the best. I think I'm going to go back to almost where we started and just say, I think Boston's team total is going over 112. I need them to get to 113. I think they can do it. They got to 114 in regulation in one of the games. I think 107 in the other one. But I'm going to play the fact that they shoot really well at home all season long. They score an amazing amount of points at home all season long. And Cleveland's three-point defense hasn't been great. And I do think that Boston, under Joe Mazzulla, with their faster pace, is not going to let Cleveland walk up the floor all game long. Boston's going to push them out of their tempo for at least spurts in this game. So give me over 112 where the Celtics are concerned. Just the team total. I narrowed it down to that. Boston Celtics team total over 112.
All right, good stuff. For my best bet, I'll go with one of the games we talked about. I just think, the way they both been playing lately, 6-1 to the under the last 2 weeks, not even combining to average 220 points. They're giving us 226 in this game for today. Still think Giannis is going to sit by the end of it. I'll go under 226, Orlando and Milwaukee. Appreciate you, Rob, for taking the time, come hang out with us and share all this good information. You'll be back with us on Friday, right?
I will. We look forward to it, Ski.
All right, absolutely. And we appreciate everybody in the chat for stopping by, you guys sharing your info, and for just coming and hanging out with us and supporting. So good luck on all your action. We'll catch you guys on Friday.